Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. You're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks. I'm the owner of Versatile Real Estate Group located at 804B West Main Street, Jamestown, North Carolina. Contact us at www.weareversatile.com or 919-225-0660. Our show today is sponsored by Characters Go Round, providing characters at kids' parties across North Carolina and Virginia. Reach them at www.charactersgoround.com. Remember, Disney is where dreams come true. We bring the magic to you. All right, today we are joined by a special guest, a very special guest, Mr. Peter Shue, a returning citizen who amassed millions of dollars in the drug trade before going in the Bronx, New York, before going into prison for over 2 decades. Mr. Shue, I thank you first, honor us with your presence. I like to talk about, I'd like to welcome you and see if there's anything you'd like to say to our guests before we go into dialogue about your past and your present.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Glad that we all alive and could tell our stories and reach out to the crowd and the people and who's ever tuning in. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in.
All right, well, I appreciate that, man. And I like to say that it's Peter Shue with a U. It's not Shoe, it's UE, right? So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about Peter Shue. For those tuning in who don't know who you are, right? I know who you are because there are quite a few videos of you on YouTube, right? And I've heard about the legend of Peter Shue. Give us a little background information about you.
Well, like I said, it's all over I'm known all over, so it's not just New York, the
Okay.
United States. So a lot of people know me, a lot of celebrities know me. And I'm black and Chinese. That's why the shoe is SHUE. And I grew up in the South Bronx, but I rep New York. I don't rep the Bronx. I rep New York.
All in New York. Got you. Got you. Yeah, so it's really kind of hard to have a interview with you, right, about your past without talking about like you said, a lot of celebrities know you. Why are you so known by celebrities?
That's a good question. I mean, I used to hang out. I used to hang out, go to the fights, go to the Soul Train Awards, go to all type of places where the celebrities be at. So I got to meet. They had a couple of places in New York I used to go to that the celebrities be at, like the China Club and Studio 54 and places like that back in the day. And I met them, or the owners brought them over to introduce them to me because they wanted to know who I was because I was spending so much money in the joints.
Yeah. So everybody doesn't get to meet celebrities, right? It's a reason you were on the level with the celebrities financially, right? Studio 54, which is a club. I'm not from New York, but I heard quite a bit about Studio 54, and that was like the who's who. And you were like the man in Studio 54. So the celebrities kind of was wondering who you were, and how it was that everyone knew you. And from your time at Studio 54 and other clubs around New York, the celebrities I guess were attracted to a person who was living their lifestyle, who wasn't in movies, who wasn't doing music, and this drew the attention of a particular person, right?
But if you got the look, they're gonna
Yeah.
wonder why you got the look. You got the Rolexes on, you got gators on, gated outfits, you got the minks on. So they the Versace stuff on. So they're gonna see the
The bling
this.
bling and the yeah.
No, but it's like you're not an ordinary person. Like you
Got
got
you.
all this expensive stuff on, so they're gonna know, and then they'll look to see who's associated with you that night, and they'll go ask them. They'll be nosy because that's what a lot of they are nosy, and they'll go to ask who's that guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah, got you.
they come right back to me. So and then
All right.
back then Charles Oakley was real cool with me. So he played for the Knicks. We used to hang out every weekend. That's my dude.
Okay,
Mike
got you.
Tyson, and you had all the singers and rappers. They always hanging out with me. So that's how you get to be well known.
All right. So when we come back, right, we're going to continue our discussion. But you've been listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host Carlos Parks. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. We'll be right back after this break. Boom. All right, so I'll edit that part out, right? And now we're gonna go into the longer part, and I'm gonna segue into your past relationship. We can talk about that, but we're gonna keep it brief because I really want to talk about what you're doing today. You know what I'm saying? So
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and lead into that other part right now, and then we'll talk about what you're doing there. All right. So
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And for those streaming live through free TuneIn Radio app and through iHeartRadio, you're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host Carlos Parks. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing, the past with our very special guest, Mr. Peter Shue. Mr. Shue, I want to continue our discussion. I'm just gonna call you Peter, man. I'm just going to, I wanted to continue our discussion about the lifestyle that you lived prior to incarceration. And your lifestyle attracted one particular individual who everybody is just like, how did this dude pull Madonna? So we're going to talk about briefly your relationship with Madonna and how you came to know her.
Yeah, well, I don't like talking about her, but I'm going to give you briefly because she's the one that set me up. But
Okay.
my thing is this, right? Yeah, I met her at the club, and she was I think the word was back then was sweating me, so she was
Yeah.
sweating me, and and it led to another thing, and then I I was at a party and it was too crowded. It was too crowded, so that's when I went around the corner and at this spot called Chaz Wilson, where a lot of rich people be at, and we was in there, and then she sent somebody to bring me over there and to introduce me to her. But I hesitated at first because I didn't was I told him I like my women like I like my coffee black. So she came over to me, and then she
Yeah.
tapped me on my shoulder and she taught, she's like, yo, that's racist comment. And I told her I was just playing. But then we sat down and talked and we exchanged numbers, and I went back to the other party, and you know somebody started shooting up in the air like these crazy people be doing when they don't know how to act.
Yeah.
But they didn't shoot nobody, they just shot up in the air. So anyway, when I came outside, my beeper went off and it was her. So I went to her crib was like on 64th Street. I was on 79th. So I went down there and she had went to her loft, and she came to the door with a see-through, negligee on, and
Okay.
I hit it then, and I kept hitting it after that. So that was it. But
Well, as a man, right? As a man, it's like a point system, man, for when you're in that world, when you're in that life. If you hit somebody on that level, that's a lot of points, right? So because of that, man, a lot of guys would looked up to you, man, because you were able to bag a big fish, right? A big fish,
well,
and then you do say the shit.
I had all them people on me though, so I had a lot of
Yeah,
big fish trying to get with me, and then I had the baddest girls out trying to get with me. So it was a known fact. I mean, anybody say different, they lying. But my
got
team,
you.
my partners know. They know what time it was, so they
Right.
know.
And you speak big on your team. I've heard before that how you talk about there was no big U's in your group, right? And no little I's. Everybody was a part of the team. You were a true team player. You were loyal, and because of your loyalty, right, when you got in trouble, you were in trouble by yourself, right? It was like you didn't have a case with co-defendants and stuff like that, right? It was you got set up, right?
Yeah, and whenever things go down, I take the weight anyway. I don't. I know. First of all, I ain't gonna tell on myself, so I don't want to put nobody in position for that. And second of all, I can do time, and everybody knows that that's did time with me. That time is just a number to me, and I just adjust to my environment. And
Got you.
speaking of that, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's tuning in on your radio broadcast that was incarcerated with me, because there's a lot of good dudes from down that way.
Got
From
you. Yeah.
Virginia all the way down. So I mean, that's just how I am. I never like nobody to suffer. I like to take the weight, and if you read my book, that's why I step in front of guns when niggas gonna shoot somebody that's cool with me, and I tell them, nah, you can't do it. If you
Got
gotta
you.
shoot me first. So it's just I never feared death. I never feared none of that. I fear what's going on out here more. So because it's crazy, but things like that when I have to step up. I'm that guy. I want to be at the free throw line with the game on the line.
Got you. Yeah, so I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you stood up. I mean, like yourself, I went to trial, man. They got to show me, right? So I went, and they gave me 30 years, but I was fortunate enough to give back 10 of it. Like 12 years into my sentence, I won my appeal, ended up coming home at 17. So I was fortunate, and one of my best friend was in Fort Dix with you. He said you guys didn't know each other, but you were definitely a stand up dude. So I never heard anything bad about you. And that whole thing about standing in front of a bullet, I had somebody do that on me, right, when I was about to do something, and this man stepped up, like, nah, stepped in front of the gun, like, just like you're saying, right. And I had the utmost respect for him, after that, man. And it's just,
Mhm.
it takes a certain type of character to do that, right. But you also mentioned your book, right? So one of the things I want to talk about is where you're at today, what you're doing today. You mentioned the book. Where do we find your book? Is the book completed? And if so, how do we find it? I want to order the book.
You could
Where's
go.
this
You could
book?
go. You could. It's called The Life of the Party. It's been out, but you could Google, and it'll come up. Google Life of the Party, the Peter Shue story, and it'll come up, and it'll tell
Okay.
you what you have to do. And but basically, I went to 3 trials. I had 2 hung juries. So,
Yeah.
but now, since I've been home, again, it's hard. I was telling a few people it's hard. It's hard on real dudes because real dudes don't get the respect like the snitches and stuff do. I mean, when
Yeah.
snitches come home, they
Yeah.
get money, they get movie deals, they get all kind of stuff. We come home, we get, hey, good to see you, and that's it. And that's weird to
Exactly.
me. So I struggled for a long time, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. God always, they say that, and God always is on your corner. You go with that. So I'm getting ready to get the financing for the movies, the documentary and everything. I want to
Okay.
do I want to they want to bring a champagne and the wine out in my name, and I'm working on this oils that they be smoking, the hookah stuff. I'm supposed to get the oils. That's more powerful than anybody that got out there. So I'm gonna call it the golden child. When you see the golden child, that's gonna be my brand. But
Okay.
it's so many things people want me to get into. My son got something going on he wants me to get into, and we're gonna do it all. This is our year, I believe, and I just had to maintain and go through the struggles. But if you read the Bible, the book of Job, that's what he was tested by. They took everything from him, and God gave him everything back. So I believe that everything was taken from me, and I believe God's gonna give everything back. So
Tenfold. I agree. I agree. So one of the things I recognize, right, is the guys who were formerly into the street life, who did well, right? Like yourself, you did extremely well. So that's a testament to your business savvy. I'm a businessman today, and that's because of my past. I understand money. I understand how to make money. So all it is just changing the game. So where we were selling drugs before, we're selling other things now legally, right? So when you talk about the champagne, I mean the alcohol beverage line or whatever it is, and all of these things, it's all said. You just flipping again,
Well,
it's
the
just
whole
flip.
thing, whole thing is Carlos. It's everything's the same. It goes if you knew how to see a lot of people that was incarcerated with me. They was like worried because they was like they don't know what they're going to be able to do. I said, listen, it's the same concept. The
Yeah,
same protocol you take in hustling is the same protocol you take in whatever you're going to do legally, and
yeah.
you'll be all right. And I was teaching them that, but a lot of people be fearful of having to change over. Like I had to learn how to write movies when I was incarcerated because of the fact I knew I couldn't come home and hustle again. So I went and started writing movies. And I learned from this guy named George Jung before I found out he was a snitch. He taught me how to write, and
Mm.
he was in that movie Blow. So after I learned from him,
Oh
I learned how to
yeah,
write on
yeah.
my own. So I
Okay,
started writing screenplays on my own.
okay, yeah.
So
He was in Blow. I saw that. It was a good movie, and I didn't know he was a snitch. I know he was in. I didn't know he was crooked though.
yeah, he became a snitch for the government. So I mean, you know, like I just took the knowledge of what he taught me, and
Hmm.
I put it to what I wanted to do. And
Gotcha,
that's how
gotcha.
I'm able to write screenplays. I could write a screenplay. a screenplay in 3 weeks. So
Wow.
it's easy for you because it's easy to do. All you need is a plot, and then you take it
Gotcha.
from.
Gotcha.
So,
All right. Well, we're gonna take another break. After the break, we'll continue our discussion with Peter Shue. You're turned into WDRB Media. You're tuned into WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back. All right, that's part number two. All right, we're gonna close up the radio show with part number three. And really, part number three is short. You know, we're gonna probably touch up on what I talked about. This is going to be short. I'm basically going. This is your opportunity to tell people where to find you. You know, you can find you on Instagram at whatever, Facebook at whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever information you want for people who might want to reach out to you. You
uh,
know, business, whatever. And then I close up the section I got to close out is a lot, so that's why we don't really get much done in this 5 minute segment. All
uh,
right, ready?
so in between when you're doing this, you play music and everything.
Yeah, so this part what we talking right now, I just cut this out. So when I send it to the producers, right, they put music in. So it's a 30-minute radio show, but we only doing 20 minutes of talking. The other 10 minutes
Oh,
is
see, no, I
waiting.
was thinking like you had like a radio show where you going it's an all nighter. Like say it's an all nighter and you playing music, and in
Uh-huh.
between you do the interviews. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
nah.
saying? Like you a DJ, like a DJ
Uh-huh.
playing
Nah,
music.
nah, it's just the
Oh,
opposite. It's just a show like but I got prime time. I got 7 o'clock. You know, seven
yeah.
o'clock is a good slot to have. So yeah, Thursdays at 7. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and those streaming live through free TuneIn Radio app and through iHeartRadio. You're listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks. If you're just tuning in, you first of all, you missed a lot, but we're talking to Mr. Peter Shue, a street legend in New York and all around, right? We're talking about how, how what he learned in the streets has helped him with what he's doing today. Um, which is quite a bit. Mr. Peter, could you tell them again, where they can reach you and what you're working on, what to be on the lookout for from you?
Well, they can meet me on the corner of Lenox Avenue, and I have that. No, I'm just playing. Now they can hit me on Instagram, Peter
Yeah.
Shue 100. Facebook is just regular Peter Shue, And my
Okay.
son, and my cousin has apps up too. I mean, Instagram and Facebook on me too. I mean, on me, but they doing it. So,
They
but
handle it.
to
Okay.
get at me straight up, Peter Shue 100 and Peter Shue on Facebook.
Okay.
So,
All right. Got you.
so you could get at me easy, and like I said, the books you could order the books online, and you could ask me anything you need to know, especially people that's suffering with depression, and that's what I'm working with now because I'm gonna be going into the schools and the probation and stuff like that soon, talking to grown men and kids and whatever about life, whatever they going through,
Okay.
and knowing that it's a light at the end of the tunnel, and people with depression and stuff, help them through this because I know what it is to go through depression and stress and because like me and you, Los, we did 20 something years, and
Yeah.
then you come home, you got to struggle, you got to get back. Like then my
Yeah.
mother passed away, and that hurt, and then I died twice, and they had to bring me back because I was poisoned by the police in jail. So that's
Mm.
it.
Your mother
So,
passed while you were away.
nah, she passed at 217. She waited till I come home. That's what God is
Wow.
so. God is good.
Wow.
She hung
Yeah.
on. I came home the end of 215, and she died in 217 in March.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it was rough on me because that's my favorite. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So you said you were Chinese and black. Who was Chinese and who was black? Your mother was what?
My mother was black. My father was Chinese.
Got you. Okay, I was just wondering. It don't really make a difference. But anyway,
It
man.
still came out to be me.
Yeah, exactly. So before we go, right? I know you're from New York. You're a New York guy, right? But are there any other areas that you have ties to, right? That you used to be in Carolina, Virginia, like like is it anybody else out there who might know you from the streets, but not in New York?
Everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
known everywhere. So you could go to North Carolina. I could give you names, my friends down there. You could go to Matter of fact, my partner moved down to North Carolina, so he's down there. And then you go VA. I got friends at VA. I got friends in Atlanta, of course, Atlanta, because they do that other Bronx shit down there, and Boston, Philly,
all over.
yeah, Vegas, California, Detroit, Chicago. I mean, you name a state, they know me.
Yeah,
So
well, I appreciate you, man, for coming on my show, giving me an opportunity, man. Because names like yours will help to get recognition to my show, man. I appreciate it. But
well,
thank you.
I'm always want to support the brothers, and I just tell them, just make a difference, man. Make a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you told me that you were going to do some speaking because I feel like we got to give back, and that's an excellent way to give back because they're going to respect it coming from you. But I'm gonna close out, man. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Continue to tune in every Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Please remember to connect with me by going to wdrbmedia.com. Click on the radio shows tab and go to Versatile Radio. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show or want free advertisement, call me at 919-225-0660 or email me at 072cap@gmail.com. You've been listening to Versatile Radio, and I'm your host, Carlos Parks, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, for double the information and inspiration. Until next week, continue to be blessed. Remember, we're no one-trick pony. We're versatile. All right, that's the end of the radio segment. So we ain't got to really go into much. Normally, this is when you can be free. You can talk about whatever, right? So as I was saying, I ran into a guy the other day who he doesn't know you, right? So everybody knows of you, but they don't know you, right? So I don't know him, but I know of him. That's the big homie, right? That's the big homie. So you preceded quite a few individuals in New York. New York has legends, right? There are a lot of legends in the game, streetwise, right? And me being from Virginia, it was a trickle down effect. Everything came from New York and came down south. Everything came. So names came with it, right? So you proceeded, like Alpo and them. Like most people know Alpo, Rich Porter, who were from that era. But you were before them, right? So
Well,
who were the big names when you were in the streets? I know it was other people other than just Peter Shue that they talked about. Who were the
well,
other names?
I'm not gonna name no rats. You just name one, and I'm not gonna.
Oh, it's some
I don't.
rat. Oh yeah, but yeah, we know he a rat.
You
Yeah,
don't talk. I don't bring their
you don't
names up
even
because I don't
mention
want to. I
rats.
don't want their names to be surfaced or I'm glorified and none of nah. Because
Yeah,
they're not in our same league. Now, if you want to
got you,
know
got you.
if you want to know the real dudes I grew up with, but
Yeah,
before me, I mean, you know, Frank Matthews wasn't from New York,
he
but
was
he
from
was the
North
big.
Carolina.
Yeah, he was the biggest dope dealer in New York to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I believe because
No,
you know
Frank Matthews is from Durham. So you got two Franks. Frank Lucas was a rat.
no, Frank Lucas was a rat.
Yeah,
You keep
Frank
bringing
Matthews.
names up. Stop bringing them
Yeah,
rat
Frank.
names up,
All right, my
man.
bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. But Frank
Frank
Matthews, a lot of people
Matthews.
don't know
Frank
about Frank
Matthews.
Matthews.
Frank Matthews was the biggest dope dealer ever, and me and my cousin debate over that because he
You're
thought
right.
another
You
he thought another rat was the biggest dope dealer, but I don't believe that. And
nah, Frank Matthews by
and
far.
Frank Matthews to me was the biggest one, and he got away. So I
Exactly.
applaud him. But
I'm surprised you know that name. I'm
because
surprised you know
I
that name.
I know all the big boys, but
Yeah, yeah.
um
He
Mike Mellon, who was I have to say his name. I didn't want to say it, and that's
yeah,
who my
yeah.
cousins say. My cousins say not Mike Mellon. My cousins say is have had was getting more money than Frank, and we defer on that. But Nicky Barnes was a rat, and I don't talk about him either. But anyway, his nephew Mike Mellon, who wasn't a rat. Let me clarify that again. Was
Yeah,
not a rat. Was a
yeah.
real dude, and he passed away in jail. He had
Okay.
life, but he was a good dude, and that's who I used to see older than me and had crazy love for, and his whole mob, all them brothers that was involved with them. I had crazy love and respect for them, and a lot of them are still out here. And Peter Monsanto's a Fat Stevie. I got love for them. They was good
Okay.
dudes. Tommy Frost. You had a lot of older brothers that was good.
Yeah.
Good dudes, and then you had us. You had the Chaz from Black Hand Production that passed away. He's a good dude. You had my partner Big D. You got you know man, it's so many people. I can't go through the whole list. That was real good
Yeah.
dudes, and they was getting money. So you know that's the thing. But you had Boy George and Ice and them. Ice is my dude, so I have to bring him up. You have the Lynch Mob from the Bronx and the Lynch Mob from Manhattan. Um,
Okay.
so you had Lou Sims and you had Favis, and in the Bronx um you had Weechi and Eric, and those are strong crews, and they were strong, good brothers, and I salute all of them because they didn't tell.
Got you.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot niggas gonna be calling me talking about why you ain't say my name, but I can't. My man Prince. Oh, because if I don't say
I
his
heard
name,
that
he
name,
go,
Prince. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I heard
no, that's
Prince.
Prince
Yeah.
from the Supreme Team, which is another one good name. But I'm talking
Okay.
about Prince from he lives he down south now. But if I don't say his name, he gonna run to my partner. Yo, he keep forgetting to say my name. So Prince, I'm saying your name now, right? So and then you got
Yeah,
Mustafa and them, and it was and they're all still my people. And D Nice and them and Cool from Brooklyn,
yeah,
Gotti and them. It's a lot of good dudes. That was Tito Mafia and them, Maya Lansky and them, you
yeah.
know,
So we
Will Blast and Wolf. So
being
it's like,
from, I want to tell you, like the Bronx, right? Like you're from the Bronx.
yeah.
So in being in Virginia, right? Like I was telling you, like all the work would come down and trickle down from New York, right? And with the work, you had dudes coming from New York who was, pushing it because, like Biggie said, he heard Knicks went for 20 down south or whatever, right? So it was what you guys were selling for $5, we were selling for 20, right? So a lot of people came down, you know, bringing that work, getting that money, right, going out of state. Out of the guys from New York who came to my city, who came down my way, the ones who were the most successful, the most business savvy, the ones who had the least problems were the dudes from the Bronx. Like we were always having issues with dudes from Brooklyn because of they were different, right? The dudes from the Bronx came down and they were just like most of the guys who came down my way were from Webster Projects. It was a whole crew. And this was in 88. They came 88, 89. There was a bunch of these guys out of Webster and they came down and they excelled in business, right? But then when the Brooklyn dudes came, like we was always at war, and what's the like I know like the boroughs are different, but why is it that they just lack business savvy, lack tact? Like I don't get it.
Well, they really don't see eye to eye with us either. But I mean, the ones I'm cool with, they real, and those are my brothers. And but you got some that's grimy. A lot of them is grimy, and they always plotting, and with us, we on some business shit for real, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the difference. The Bronx Brothers is really on some business stuff, and you know, even when I was in Baltimore, the same thing. Baltimore dudes used to tell me about the Brooklyn dudes, but we on some. We let everybody eat. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
that them days, I was getting like 80,000 off a brick
Yeah,
from that just going straight up coke, put it in the bottles, and you get 80,000, bag up 80,000 profit. So
wow.
that was cool off them joints. And at them times, I was getting them shits for 10,000. So
Oh shit. Okay.
I was like able to manipulate and did I say the right word? Maneuver. I said manipulate.
Okay.
Maneuver
Yeah.
better.
No, got you.
And then it was easier for us. And then even when I sell them to people, it was easier. So me and my partner D, Big D,
Yeah.
we just had some, had a lot of room to breathe. So
See,
that's what it is.
by the time I got in, they were going for like 20, right? Right now they're
Mhm.
going for like 36. So
Mhm.
like inflation has the price of drugs has it's an inflation on that too. And I was like, that was remarkable when I heard how much they were worth today because I'm all the way out the way. I don't
But you
dabble
know,
out.
if they go on for 36, if they go on for 36, you know them they making taking a pure one and make it into like 4 bricks. So now you got 4 bricks. So even though it's going for 36, you know what I'm saying? They go on for 36. It's like you buy one for 36. If it's pure, then you make 4 of them. So you figure it's really going for I'm trying to do the math. 9, 18, 20. So it's really going for 9,000 a brick because now
Okay.
you got 4 of them, and then you
Yeah.
break, and then you sell them how you want to sell them. So that's this technology hits them too when it comes to doing that because they was doing that when I was around hustling, but you know they done mastered it to make it even better. Every time you become a chef and you cooking for 20, 30 years, you're gonna upgrade. Just like the
Yeah.
computers, being on the computers. That's why I say everything's related to hustling. If you could know how to hustle, you could do anything.
Hey,
And the
yeah,
whole thing
you're
is
right.
everything was related. So if you cooking a brick now, you know, now you made 4 bricks. So now when you bag that 4 bricks up, you still had 4 bricks at 9,000 instead of one at 36.
Yeah.
But you got to
Yeah.
make sure you get something that ain't already cooked up and sold to you. That's the big difference. That's what
Yeah.
people have to be careful of. And
Hmm.
I'm not in the game no more either, but I still know the particulars, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard it from one of my homies, I ain't seen I accidentally saw something, man. I walked to my homeboy house and he was on the stove and I was like, oh shit. I turned around and
You
got
gotta
out of
get
there
out. You
quick.
gotta get out of
I got out of there
there.
quick. Me right
You
now,
yo,
man, you can't
you
get
could
me near nothing, man. I don't want to
yeah,
be
'cause you could be sitting around, you be sitting in the house doing nothing, and police coming you in on that conspiracy, you know.
exactly. The feds waiting to send you back. You know what I'm saying? Like they waiting for a reason. So, I couldn't be around. I stayed away from my homies who was still dibbling and dabbling, right? Because I ain't got another one in me. I
And
ain't
you
got
got
it.
the
That
Commonwealth, state too.
you already know.
Yeah,
You already know. So man, I can't play with these people. You get caught with a
yeah,
bullet, you going back. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like so nah, I ain't doing none of that. And
I got
like
a
you
few
like
friends that caught life down there, you know.
yeah, yeah,
It's,
life.
it's
And
hard to
I
give
know
it back.
Yeah, I know a few got life what the judges in Virginia try to do. They give you 180 years. Like,
Yeah.
why you can't just make it a life sentence, man? Why you got to make it sound so? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you 100 and something years? Come on, man. Like, who gonna live that long?
They want
You
you to
know?
piss. They want you to piss on yourself.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
how it is, yo. So it's terrible, man. That's why I relocated, came down to North Carolina. It's not much better, but it's not Commonwealth. But
Yeah.
man, it is what it is, man. And now it's legal to snitch. I don't know if you heard about it, but snitching is legal now. You know why it's legal? Because they ain't doing nothing about it when it happened. The snitches come home, they on Facebook. I know one just came home. He on Facebook posting up with his girl, your boy back. Man, he ain't do 2 years, Peter. Like
Yeah.
on a conspiracy. So you already know what conspiracy carry. How
It
you
ain't that
home in
it's
two
legal.
years?
It ain't that it's legal. It's just that people have this mentality where they still fuck with them. And
Yeah.
if they I shouldn't have cursed, right?
Nah,
Is this
you
the one
good.
I
We
can't?
on this the
Oh,
podcast. You say what you want
so
to
I
say.
want to make sure,
Yeah.
so yeah, they still mess with them, and then you have you know, it gave them courage because people
Yeah.
are still socializing them, keeping them alive, and still it gives them courage, and
Yeah.
they start doing podcasts and they start doing movies and documentaries. And these documentaries they come out with, they don't tell the whole story. They only tell the story of their when they was in power. They don't tell the story what happens when they got caught and they start telling.
Hmm.
See, and, that's why I don't respect them brothers, and I don't. They don't come around me, and I deal with men. I deal with dudes that didn't tell. Didn't tell, and and a lot of people are confused about the definition of telling and stuff like that. And I keep telling them my definition was be evaluated when I was in jail because at first I was like, a snitch is a snitch. But then I started being educated on it and started researching in my mind. And if you're a citizen and you out the window, you see me shoot you and you telling me you didn't snitch. You just told because that's what they do in society. But if
Yeah.
you part of that gang, if you're in the gang and you're caught up in that and something goes on and you tell, yeah, you're a snitch.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
you
why
violated the code. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to break down about the rapper the 6ix9ine because he has it confused and he's young and he don't get it. See, he wouldn't have been no snitch if he didn't join that gang. Once he joined up, then he's a snitch. He think
Exactly.
because of everything they was gonna do to him made him justified to do that.
Yeah.
No, because when like if I get caught, right, and they say, yo, I go in jail and I'll be like, yo, I told on Carlos because he didn't get me no lawyer. He fucked tried to fuck my girl. He fucked my girl. He owed me money. That's not something that you supposed to tell on a nigga for. That's
Yeah.
something you supposed to hold court in the street when you get
Exactly.
home and get that
You
nigga.
deal with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But see, that's people use these as excuses, and you got all these dudes that run around and they sanctioning these excuses like, oh well, yeah, that's why he did it because they fucked his girl and they didn't get him a lawyer or they
Yeah.
and, and that's not cool. It's not that's
Nah.
not the way that's not the law of the land, and they don't know the law of the land, but they always jumping out there and like this nigga's good. This nigga's good. So what he told? He told for this reason. But he was in the game. If he was in the game, that's his fault. He chose them niggas to be around. So if
Yeah.
something went wrong, that's his fault. You know?
Yeah. You're
I don't
right.
care.
You're
I
right.
don't care if your sister get killed or your sister get raped or whatever, or your mother. That's your deal is to handle that with them
Handle it.
personally.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know?
So that's what happened to me. One of the guys who told on me, he told on me because of I supposedly did something to him, right? All right, do something back to me. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get the people involved in it and let them deal with it for you. Nah, we in the streets, man. We both in the streets. It's different rules for us, right? Which is why I agree with what you said. Like if it's in society, you a regular citizen, you're a citizen. You do what society do. That's what a citizen do, right? But when we step off the porch and we get into this street life, right? It's codes to this. It's
Yeah.
rules to this. So if I violate when I got hemmed up, I bit the bullet, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, they offer me immunity, man. All you got to do is just tell we'll grant you immunity. Nah, I wouldn't dare put nobody in this predicament, man. What you
Yeah.
gonna give me? Go ahead, give it to me. Like whatever you gonna give it to me, because it's gonna stop here. Like that's it. But other
There's
too bad.
nobody. There's nobody that could come to you and say Peter Shue gave me a. I'd take the weight even for
Yeah,
my team. I take it so nobody don't go but me. If they stop the car and they find a gun and it's four of us in the car, it's mine.
got you.
And dudes would testify to that. They would say, "Yeah, Shue do that," and because that's
Yeah,
me. If the case I caught in 219 when they had a girl in the house and this nigga in the that was my roomie. He's some shit though. He was sleeping in the back, and he had a shotgun in the room. He ain't even tell me. But anyway, when they came in and they told me whatever we find in this house, if you don't say it's yours, we taking everybody in. I said, well, anything you find is mine. So that's why when that videotape was shown and it was showing me in the precinct, I mean in the federal, no, yeah, in the precinct in the precinct joint. I wasn't in the
yeah,
federal joint.
yeah.
So the precinct joint, and then I'm saying that's all mine. I was sniffing coke and dope, man. Everybody know I was lying, but I was sniffing
That
coke
was
and dope.
just you
And then
taking the beef, trying to get them out there.
to,
Yeah, I
to
got
save
you.
the girl, I was really trying to save the girl, and she ended up not talking to me no more anyway. But I tried to do everything I was supposed to do. I told my lawyer to tell her lawyer that it's mine. The drugs was mine. I told her to tell her lawyer to tell the prosecutor the drugs was mine, to tell the judge the drugs was mine, so they could let her go. But they still make you come to court. So she went to court for about a year before she got the case dismissed, and she lost the job, so she blamed me. And I mean, but it's I don't know what she wanted me to do. Did she want me to go and punch the judge in the face? I mean, because it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
But I did
yeah,
everything as a man supposed to do. I took the
yeah,
weight, and
yeah.
And everybody seen that on the video. They seen, I was saying, it was like, well, they was like, who sold you the drugs? I said, I don't know. I just go get it for anybody.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
bullshit with them. I'm playing the game with them.
Yeah, I
And
know.
and
I
the whole
know.
thing is, then they said, well, you're gonna rot in jail. I said, so what? John Gotti did it. And then they said, yeah, he died. I said, so what? He went out like a trooper. And that's why
Yeah.
I was trying to, they don't know. They thought they was interviewing me. I was giving the Jews to the people in the street. So that's what that's
It
how I'm
was it
about.
was
But
funny. It was funny watching that interview, right? I'm watching this goofy ass police officer that was trying to
yeah,
get you, and you could tell like you were way sharper than this dude. He was out of his league. Like I'm like, man, this dude, like they wrong for sending that dude in there.
they
He was
they a
out of his
bunch of
league,
idiots.
man.
Them motherfuckers is idiots, man.
Yeah,
They 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 don't really know who's who and who you could try that with. But
yeah.
if you look at a nigga's jacket, and I just did 20 something years, and I ain't tell then. You think I'm facing 2 years? You think I'm gonna tell now? What the fuck is wrong with these niggas, man? Yeah, these niggas is crazy, man. So I think
Yeah,
I just laugh at these dudes, man. But it was it.
yeah.
They just they put these dudes in the suit, and they think they and that's how you was down, you was locked up. You see how them correction officers, them young correction officers in jail, they so fucking like what you call them niggas? What was the
What
nigga's name?
the green?
Yeah,
What you
green.
mean?
They green, but not only green, they Opie. Remember Opie from do 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 do
Stupid
do.
as
What
hell.
was that show?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's how they
I
are. They
forgot
like
the
they
name of that
so
shit.
they they op Mayberry RFK or some
That's
shit like
here.
that.
That's down here in North Carolina.
Yeah,
I don't live far from that show.
yeah.
Yeah,
They
Mayberry.
they
Yeah.
and that's
Andy
that's how
Griffin
they are.
show. The Andy Griffin
Yeah,
show. Yeah, I
Andy
think. Yeah,
Griffin show, and that's how
yeah,
they are. They come in there and they think they know have all the answers. These niggas is 20 years old trying to tell you what to do. Get
yeah,
motherfucker out
yeah.
of here. So
They ain't got
that's
sense.
where
So
my
that's why they
problem's happening.
a lot of them get finessed inside too because they stupid. You
Yeah,
putting
because you
them
could tell
around
me
dudes.
anything. You can say
Yeah,
anything. But you try to put your hands on me, I'm gonna whip your ass. And that's the point.
yeah,
That's the problem with they could say whatever they want to me. And but they was racist, they was racist, and that how they feel we are.
yeah.
And they think we muse and slaves and all that, and we ain't going for that. Real niggas ain't going for that. You
Especially
know,
if you do time down south or out west. If you go to Texas, man, they just super raised. Like you was in Fort Dix, man. Like Fort Dix was the type of place that where people wanted to go. Like, man, if I could just get to Fort Dix, because you know when you hear about the other spreads, what's happening,
nah, but
you know.
Gilmer was racist. Gilmer
Yeah, you
is in
was in West
Virginia.
Virginia. You in the mountains
Yeah,
of West Virginia. You know, like
that
so
joint that
I
joint was
heard
crazy,
about Gil. Anything in West
man.
Virginia. I was at Beckley, man. Like anything in West Virginia is like them, and it's a different type of races. That's hillbillies.
Yeah,
Hillbillies are different.
they try to treat you like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
That's how they
yeah,
are,
yeah. But that's
you know.
because they're like low on the rung of white people, so they
Yeah.
feel like they really don't like you. Hillbillies, that
Hollywood,
hillbilly joke.
Pennsylvania too, like that.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania's racist. That's
listen,
where I had the problems at. That Allenwood is racist. They terrible, and
yeah,
they try to talk to you like, not all of them, because there's some white COs that was all right, but most of them
yeah.
is some trash.
Area
And
in Pennsylvania between Philly and what's it, Pittsburgh? That whole area in Pennsylvania they call Alabama. So if
yeah,
you up there, if you're not in Philly and you're not in Pittsburgh, you in Alabama. Because them white people don't care nothing about you in that part of Pennsylvania, man. That's where they put the prisons at. Allenwood, Pennsylvania. They put the prisons in the middle of nowhere. The
you
prison
know,
is the job. Everybody in the town work at the jail. Like that's the type of places they send these prisons.
yeah, and
But
most of them are hillbillies. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
they hillbillies, and they just want to treat human beings bad, and you
it
know,
make them feel bigger.
but they can't do it with convicts. They can only do it with inmates, and
Exactly.
people be like, "Yo, what's the difference?" See, and I be telling them because an inmate go for anything. He
Yeah,
just want to,
yeah,
be just like Uncle Tom's. They just like was Uncle Tom's, but a
yeah.
convict ain't going for that.
Mm.
So that's just
Yeah.
how
So
that is,
so
and I try to
so
explain it to people.
during your bit, did you run into any like riot situations, or like sometimes it might be this car beefing with that car and it end up getting the whole yard locked down? You ever run into any of that while you
Of
was at?
course, of course we
Yeah,
did all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And the whole thing is, if it ain't, some states will go at it, brothers for brothers, but you know,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people. It's a long story behind this shit, but New York is divided. So they, New York don't do it like you do it, like any other state. New York, if there's a beef, if you ain't from their borough, oh, he ain't from Brooklyn, they ain't getting involved. They so fucking retarded that you know you from New York, you supposed to hold fort together. So I just
Yeah,
laugh
yeah,
at them guys. That's why when a nigga tell me he from a borough, I don't fuck
yeah,
with him. You got to
yeah,
tell me from New York. Now they say what part, then you can say what borough. But if he just say I'm straight up from the borough, then
yeah,
you ain't from New York. Then I don't know who you are. Period. But
yeah. I
when
see you make a practice of saying, "Nah, I'm from New York. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx, but I'm
yeah,
from New York."
yeah, I'm
You-
from New York, and
Yeah,
when the DC niggas came to they had a shutdown. I think it was Lawton and one of them jails, and a lot of the
Yeah,
DC,
Lord,
all the
yeah.
DC niggas, a lot of them came to Otisville, and
Okay.
the New York niggas like you could see these scared ass motherfuckers talking about, oh man, we're gonna have to strap. It's gonna be drama. Man, I was laughing at these niggas. I ain't say nothing because I know a lot of the DC niggas. They was doing
Yeah,
time with me. So
yeah,
when they came through on the compound, the DC niggas was like they see me niggas starring on them. They was like, yo, shoe. And they was like so happy to see me. And the New York niggas was looking at each other like, yo, how the fuck he know these niggas like that? But it was funny because us niggas, everybody bleed the same. You're worried about some bullshit. So
yeah,
that's how it is. But then, you got some nationalities that don't believe that we all the same color. And you
yeah,
get into with them and, a lot of the Dominicans was like that, and a lot of the Mexicans was like that. So it causes big
oh
incidents.
yeah,
Like the state joint ain't gonna cause big incidents. State on state, you might have 10 on 10 niggas. But
yeah.
you talking about the whole nationality shit, then you go to 300 is out
That's
there.
how
You know what I'm
Texas
saying?
was. That's how Texas
Yeah.
was. When I was at Beaumont Medium, we had 300 against 300. Like it was the
Yeah.
blacks against Mexicans, the whole race. We had race riots, like so it was different. And it's not like at the pen where they start shooting and everybody just drop down on the ground. At the medium, they rioting forever, like like because the
Yeah.
staff don't know what to do. They throwing tear gas over the fence, trying to, but we'll just move to another part of the field and keep on going.
Yeah.
Like man, by the end of the riot, by the time they get enough people in there to stop, man, you got people stabbed up, and man, it's bad, man. They helicopter coming in and they airlifting people off the compound.
Yeah,
People
I
that got
know. I
caught up
know how
in
that
the
shit
fire.
is.
Yeah,
And
it's
because niggas
crazy.
got bomb crushers. Niggas ain't
Yeah,
got them little
exactly.
now.
And
They
that's
coming out with the shit that I keep telling they got shit to crush your whole bomb.
Yeah, we
So
got bone crushers. And if you man, and look, I'm gonna tell you a story, right? I used to sell knives, right? So I was making knives, man. I was making knives one night in my cell. I was in a 4-man cell. This was in Petersburg. And in
mhm.
the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning, they ran up in our cell. And I had been making knives all night. I don't know if they knew. Maybe the cell next door knew. I don't know. But luckily, they was all ice picks. I had them in my shoe under the tongue, well, not the tongue, the thing in your shoe that you take out, and you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying. Like I had them under there and in there, so they had us outside,
The
cuffed
soul, the soul.
outside,
That's what it is.
sole the insole joint. So
Yeah.
we out there cuffed, and it's me and my other 3 cellies, and I'm like, man, I'm through. I'm through. You was getting like 5 years for a banger, and I had 4 of them Jones. They didn't find them though because I never put the handles on. It was just the ice pick. After
Mhm.
that, that was a wrap. I said, I ain't never making another knife. I,
Yeah,
I ain't never.
you should know they're gonna tell on you. Shit.
Yeah. But yeah,
That
I
shit
got
is the
told on
thing.
a lot. I got
Yeah.
told on a lot, man. I was a shot caller, right? So being the shot caller for my car, anytime something go down, they gonna snatch you up and throw you in the hole.
Yeah.
So I stayed in the hole, man. I wrote 3 books in the hole. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in the shoe. I got used to it. I got to the point where I liked it. Every once in a while, if I was on the yard too long, like man, I need a break. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying? Like
breakfast in bed. That's breakfast in bed because I ain't getting up for no counts. You know, they used
yeah,
to
it was,
always say they used to always say shoe to the shoe and laugh.
yeah,
That's what they used to say. 'Cause I stay in the shoe too. You know,
yeah, that's crazy.
but I
And
have
it's
fun.
just
I used to have Kevin Childs on them semi magazines while I'm in the shoe,
yeah,
and I just be passing the magazines off and we reading shit and I'm the police they'll be like, yo, if you stop acting up, we'll give you extra piece of chicken or you give you. I said, all right, so they'll feed me good and
yeah.
just to keep me from throwing food out the slot, flooding the toilets, or doing all the crazy shit I used to do. But I used to
You know
wild out
what?
when I was in home.
That's one of the things that I noticed, right? That the real solid police respected solid dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they really fucked with me, right? Because they knew I was solid. They was like, man, this young nigga got 30 years. You know, I went to trial, you know. So the good police, they fuck with me. I had police used to bring me fried chicken from the streets. You know, when I
Mm-hmm.
was in the shoe, I had a store. I had a store in the shoe. They was letting my homies bring me stuff to put in my property, and then they'll let me go get my property out. I had a store. I'm selling stuff back there, like because the police knew I was a good dude, I was solid, and I was from Virginia, and I happened to be in Petersburg at that time. So you know
They
they
said
look out.
Petersburg was sweet.
It was sweet, man. It was. I was there when they stopped cigarettes. You remember when they took cigarettes out the system, and
Mm-hmm.
because I had all my legal work, I was able to hide all my cigarettes in my legal work, cartons and cartons of cigarettes. I hid them in my legal work, and the legal work was kept in the back where the case manager's office at, unit manager
Mm-hmm.
and all that. They had a room back there where they locked your legal work up. So I got smart. I'm like, look, I told my case manager right before they took the cigarettes out. I said, man, I got to get in my legal work. I got a motion I got to get out. And right before they took the joints, I put my legal work back. They ain't know I had that joint full of cartons. So when they was going for $100 a pack, I killed them. I,
Mm-hmm.
I killed them. I went in there every once in a while. I go get some cartons out, you know. But you know, because we're hustlers, right? And I'm pretty sure you know you found your way around too, right? It's ways to you know, even though we should be changing our mindset in there, early on, my mindset didn't change. I was still a hustler. You know, I'm still making it happen. I was a rainmaker. That's what I call dudes like us, right? We
Mm-hmm.
rainmakers. We make it rain for the people under us, for the people under. So I was a rainmaker. So when I came in, I wanted to still be a rainmaker for my car. So I would make it rain. I'm making, you know, doing what I do, bringing whatever I need to bring onto the compound, and everybody ate. You know, I was just used to feeding people. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, you know, you was in a place where dudes was eating. You know, it was eating. Like
Yeah.
real, they was getting street money at the dicks. I heard about it, right? You know, so you know, being that you was there, I'm pretty sure you had fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you had a name. So
we had the cell phones, we had the cigarettes, we had the weed or whatever,
I heard,
good
man.
food.
I heard. I wanted to get there bad.
Yeah, we ate good there. It
Yeah, I
was
wanted to
fun.
get there bad, man.
I sold the white lightning. I had the niggas making the white lightning and stuff. Matter of
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
my man Bird from Virginia, he was moving the white lightning with me. He's from Virginia.
Okay.
Yellow
Yeah.
Bird. We used to call him Yellow Bird.
Yeah, I have
He
quite a
was
few homies up there, man. A lot of homies. But
yeah, he
man,
was moving the same.
I ain't gonna hold you up no more, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. I'll let you know as soon as I get this show recorded. I'll send it over to you for your personal archives. I put everything on my website. Um, you know, if you want to go check it out, it's going to be at www.carlosparkspeaks.com on the radio show section, right? I got all my shows on there, and I have this video up as well. And you're in good
Well,
company right now. You're in good company, man. I got some A-listers. You're one of my A-listers, man. You, Melvin Farmer, Ayatollah Marv, and next after you is what's his name? Rick Ross, the real one though, not the
the one
rapper.
from Cali.
The one from Cali. I
That's,
got him
that's, I
next
just
Tuesday.
spoke to him not too long ago. To tell him I said
Okay.
was up.
All right, yeah, I got him next Tuesday, so I probably just do my shows every Tuesday. But man, I appreciate it, Peter. I'll be
All
in
right,
touch, man. I got your math, man. You know,
all right.
we'll chop
Just
it up.
Just fix your electronics, man. So you
Man, I
won't
got
be
you,
messing
man.
up.
All
All right,
right,
later.
man. Appreciate it.